Hello students, welcome to my class. Today I will explain practical work and I will cover identification of gases, action of heat, identification of anions and flame test. In the analytical chemistry chapter, in that video I had taught you identification of cations, and in this chapter we will be doing identification of anions, identification of the gases released and the different results due to the action of heat, and I'll talk about flame test as well. I will also tell you about the confirmatory tests and the method of differentiating between the compounds, and prepare you for questions that will be there in the exam. And I'm telling you, this chapter is very important. You will get many questions on this chapter in different forms. I'm going to discuss all the different types of questions that you are going to get from this chapter. Important, let me repeat myself. And this chapter is pretty elaborate, so I will see that I don't make a long video, so I will try to make it in parts. And always keep in mind that I go according to your syllabus, and I'm pretty sure children, you all will follow it very nicely. It will be easy for you to understand and remember also. So, as told earlier, I'll repeat myself, I will stick to your syllabus. So, do watch my video and read the chapter given in your text, and please like, share and subscribe my channel. So, now let's begin with the chapter practical work. And we will start with identification of gases. The first gas that I have taken is hydrogen, and the first type of question that can be asked will be, give a chemical equation to prepare hydrogen. Now you all know that an active metal with dilute acid will give you salt and hydrogen. Now which active metal? There are so many above hydrogen. We don't take all for the practical chemistry. We go for zinc or magnesium, because when you go to the lab and you prepare hydrogen, these two metals are the safest, and with dilute HCl or dilute sulfuric acid we will get the result. So to go by the chemical equation, it is zinc plus dilute HCl will give you zinc chloride plus hydrogen. I have mentioned dilute HCl here, so I have not mentioned it here, but I would suggest please mention dilute here. Whenever you write an equation, you have to give whether it is dilute or concentrated. You have to give the sign of whether it's a gas or a precipitate. You have to show whether it is exothermic or endothermic. You have to mention the catalyst if there are any, how much temperature, pressure is there. If it is there in the reaction, then you need to mention all that, because without all that you may not get your 1 mark which is there for each chemical equation. And most importantly, please balance the equation. So the first equation that I have taken here is zinc plus dilute HCl giving you salt and hydrogen, zinc chloride and hydrogen. You may also try out with sulfuric acid. You may try out with magnesium dilute HCl or magnesium dilute sulfuric acid. But we don't take nitric acid, and you know the reason why. I don't need to explain it here, because there are other chapters where I'm going to deal with that in those videos. So to start with, the gas which comes out. Now the second question which arises is, how do you know that it is hydrogen gas that is released? So our observation would be a colorless, odorless and neutral to litmus, because if it is red litmus or a blue litmus introduced to gas, it will be neutral. There will be no change in that. So a colorless, odorless and neutral to litmus is not enough to tell you that hydrogen is released. When a burning splinter is brought near it, it burns to give a pale blue flame. Even this is not enough to tell that it is hydrogen. What is most important is that it makes a pop sound. So if a question comes, what do you observe? Listen very carefully. What do you observe when zinc is added to dilute HCl? You have to write all this, but you are marked on pop sound. Because as I told you just now, these color, odor, the physical tests, these will not identify the gas. So the confirmatory test is that it gives a pop sound. So a colorless, odorless, neutral to litmus gas is released or evolved, which when brought near the burning splinter burns with a pale blue flame, making a pop sound. Very important. Please make note of it. Now the second gas, that is oxygen. How do you know that oxygen is given out, and how do you release or how do you prepare oxygen? So we should know that any heavy metallic oxide on heating, here I have taken the example of red lead and mercury oxide. So any heavy metallic oxide when heated will release oxygen, giving either metal or metallic oxide. For a red lead, okay, litharge, PbO is given out. And for mercury oxide, the metal mercury comes out, and in both the cases oxygen is released. So our point is, how do you get oxygen on heating the heavy metallic oxide? You can also get oxygen by heating a metallic nitrate, not all, but zinc nitrate, lead nitrate, copper nitrate. On heating will give you their metallic oxides plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. About all these I have taught it in the standard 9's video, but since you all are in standard 10, you can go back to your last year's book and you can see the heating effect, so it will be even clear. Or if you want, you can go through the chemical reaction and changes video of mine, which I have put it for standard 9, where I have taught in much detail the result of heating a metallic nitrate and which metallic nitrate will give you what. So I'm not going into detail right now, it's just release of oxygen. So red lead on heating will give you litharge, lead oxide and oxygen, or mercury oxide on heating will give you mercury and oxygen, or zinc nitrate on heating will give you zinc oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Here we are not talking about the rest of the observation. We will only talk about oxygen because the topic that I have taken is identification of gases. Okay, right? So how do you know oxygen is released? A colorless, odorless, neutral to litmus rekindles a glowing splinter. Yes, this is one confirmatory test. Or you can also talk about alkaline pyrogalol solution which turns dark brown. Important. Formula isn't important. Formula I have written for your knowledge as it is not there in the syllabus. To talk about the reactions, I have not done. But to come back, how to identify, what do you observe, how do you differentiate? A colorless, odorless gas is evolved which is neutral to litmus, rekindles a glowing splinter, or it turns alkaline pyrogalol solution dark brown. So physical tests will not give the confirmatory test or identify the gas. It is only the confirmatory test which will identify that it is this particular gas. So the types of questions that you can be asked here are right now possibly 4. First, give a chemical equation to prepare hydrogen or prepare oxygen as for this sheet. Second, how do you know that hydrogen is released, or what is the observation when zinc is added to dilute HCl or when red lead is heated? Third, how will you differentiate oxygen and hydrogen? Fourth, what is the result when oxygen is brought to alkaline pyrogalol solution? So you have to write the color. Or what do you observe when hydrogen is burnt? You have to write about the color of the flame, and most importantly, pop sound. So these are the first two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, about which I taught you just now, the chemical reactions, the observation. Carbon dioxide, it is that same thing, but since the gases are different, so definitely the observations will be different, the reactions will be different, and the answers will definitely vary. So the third gas, that is carbon dioxide. Now, how will you prepare carbon dioxide in the lab? And the method is a carbonate salt. Now, all carbonate salts will not give you carbon dioxide. So copper carbonate or zinc carbonate on heating will give you the metallic oxide and carbon dioxide, or this you have done it in the HCl chapter, that a metallic carbonate or a bicarbonate with dilute acid gives you salt, water and carbon dioxide. So I have taken two examples here. Copper carbonate on heating gives you copper oxide and CO2, carbon dioxide gas, that we are intending to it right now. And also calcium carbonate with dilute HCl, could be dilute H2SO4 as well, to give you calcium chloride salt, water and carbon dioxide in this particular acid. So these are the two reactions which I have taken example. You can take any one which is given in your text. Children, don't go for like if copper carbonate is taken, so I can go for sodium carbonate as well. No, that will be wrong. So please stick to the equations given in your text. Do not try with any other salt of your own. I'm repeating myself, the equations given in your text. So come on. So copper carbonate giving you copper oxide and carbon dioxide and this reaction. Now how do you know the gas released is carbon dioxide? Again, it is colorless, odorless, turns the moist blue litmus faint red, slight acidic, and it turns the lime water milky, yes, confirmatory test, and no effect on acidified potassium dichromate or potassium permanganate. Okay, so as I told you, colorless, odorless, turns moist blue litmus paper or litmus faint red, wouldn't identify it as CO2. These are the two tests that will identify. One is enough. It turns the lime water milky. If you add it on, very nice. No effect on acidified potassium dichromate or potassium permanganate. So I would just tell you that learn the chemical equations. When you write them, please balance it. Learn the properties and please don't skip the main test to identify the gas, because that is what will answer the observation question as well as the distinction questions. And I'm sure 100% these two types of questions are always there in the question paper. If you go back to the 10 years paper, you will see there is always one observation question and distinction question compulsory part, that is the first section. In one of my videos, I'm going to talk about the types of questions and the way to answer them and to minimize all the different types of mistakes that you can take. Just hold on, I will be definitely putting it up. Okay, so the next type, now the fourth one is chlorine. Now if you all remember, when we were doing the HCl chapter, I taught you how the oxidizing agents react with concentrated HCl to give you salt, water and chlorine gas. So there are many in your text, but I have taken only one here. Manganese oxide with conc HCl is giving you salt, manganese chloride, water and chlorine. So this chlorine is a colored gas. So what is the observation that you see? Definitely greenish yellow, otherwise your answer would be wrong. So what do you know about chlorine? How do you identify? What is the observation? Definitely the gas is greenish yellow in color with a sharp pungent choking odor. Till now, for the odor physical test, you cannot identify. It turns the moist blue litmus red. There are many gases which will turn moist blue litmus red. So this also doesn't identify, just as a property we add on. And finally bleaches. Yes, this is confirming that is, bleaches means decolorizes, that is, red becomes white, even blue becomes first red and then becomes white. It turns this is confirmatory test, it turns the moist starch iodide paper blue black. Children, please do not write just blue or just black, that will be wrong. You have to write the exact color. It turns the starch iodide paper blue black. There is one more test. If the gas is passed through silver nitrate, a white precipitate is formed. So there are 2-3 tests for chlorine, but any one should be kept as a confirmatory test or identification or differentiating it. Otherwise, your answer will be wrong. Just do not write the color and the odor and leave it. That will mark it wrong. So again, the different types of questions: chemical equations, balanced chemical equations, the type of gas that comes out, observations, differentiation, are these 2 paragraphs that I have written it down for you. So I will take up 2 more examples. So again, identification of HCl, how to prepare. Now preparation is either potassium chloride or sodium chloride. This also you have done it in the HCl chapter with conch sulfuric acid, giving you sodium bisulfate and HCl. I missed out the temperature here. Please don't miss it, otherwise your marks are cut, because you are not writing sodium sulfate which is greater than 200, you are writing sodium bisulfate which is less than 200. So sodium chloride with conch sulfuric acid less than 200 degrees Celsius. Please mention the temperature and the result. HCl. Now how do you know this is HCl gas? It's a colorless, pungent choking odor, turns moist blue litmus red, that is, it is acidic in nature. Now comes the confirmatory test. When a glass rod dipped in ammonia solution is brought near, dense white fumes are formed. This is of course confirmatory test, because no other gas with ammonia solution will give you dense white fume. One more test: when passed through silver nitrate solution, it gives white precipitate. So these are the 2 types of confirmatory test that is given. Any one is enough to get 1 mark. The next gas that we have taken here is sulfur dioxide. Any metallic sulfite with dilute HCl or dilute sulfuric acid will give you salt, water and sulfur dioxide. These are the common rules that we have studied in the HCl chapter. Children, why I am repeating that we have done in the HCl chapter? Because just last month only it was there, and if you have missed it out, please go back to that video and see how easy it will become after doing that HCl chapter and coming back to the practical work, because I have discussed many of the reaction pattern there. So any metallic sulfite or a bisulfite with the dilute acid will give you salt, water and sulfur dioxide. So types of reaction, there are many more in your text. Please go back and prepare all of them, because there can be one type of question is they will give you the reactants and ask you to complete the equation. So that will help you. Okay, so the how do you know that it is sulfur dioxide? It is a colorless with a smell of burning sulfur and turns moist blue litmus red, bleaches is temporarily. All these are physical tests, will not identify sulfur dioxide, but yes, of course we write. It turns the lime water milky as well. Again, this will not identify that it is sulfur dioxide. The part comes now. It decolorizes the potassium permanganate solution, as well as changes the acidified potassium dichromate orange to green. It will change the color from orange to green. So these 2 are the confirmatory test. Any one out of the 2 is enough to get 1 mark. But please do not stop by just writing a colorless smell of burning sulfur gas comes out, which will turn the moist blue litmus red and bleaches it, which is temporary, because if you keep it longer open in the open air, it will regain its color. That will not give you the mark, please. And both carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide will turn the lime water milky, so that also doesn't identify. One of these only identifies that it is a sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, so now the seventh is hydrogen sulfide, H2S, and the mechanism is metallic sulfide with a dilute acid will give you salt and H2S. Easily that you get in the lab is zinc sulfide and dilute HCl, which will give you H2S gas faster, quicker, without any difficulty. So we go by these reactions. Now the gas which is released is a colorless gas. Foul smell of rotten egg, again not enough to identify. Turns the moist blue litmus red, acidic in nature, not enough to identify. Yes, this is the confirmatory test. Turns the lead acetate paper black. One more test, it can turn lead nitrate solution black as well. So any one of them you can write. Turns the lead acetate paper black. You should learn both. Why I intend on these are observation test. What do you observe when H2S gas is passed through lead acetate paper? You should know the color black, only then you can write. So just don't think that yes, I'm going to write this, I'm not going to learn that. You'll be at a land at big problem. So please don't. Learn both of them because such questions will give you 1 mark. Next, ammonia. So a salt, ammonium salt, can be ammonium chloride or ammonium sulfate. With alkali can be sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. Easily that we get is ammonium chloride, sodium hydroxide, salt, water and ammonia. And in this type of reaction we get ammonia very easily. We don't get any problem getting the ammonia gas. How do you identify? A colorless gas with a sharp, pungent, characteristic odor, basic in nature. Confirmatory test. It turns the Nessler's reagent brown. Important. This is the formula, important. Reactions we don't have in the syllabus, so I have not written. And also, if a glass rod dipped in conch HCl is brought, it will give you a dense white fume. So any one will give you the answer, but as I told you just now, learn both of them because you get questions like, what do you observe when ammonia gas is passed through Nessler's reagent? Or which gas when passed through Nessler's reagent turns it brown? So you should know that ammonia gas through Nessler's reagent turns brown. They will maybe twist the question to check whether you are learning all the facts or not. So this is a very common thing which you know, not new to you, but since it's there in your syllabus, I have discussed. Crystalline salt. I have taken the example of copper sulfate because that is what we can get the water vapor very easily in the lab, and it's very easy to show as well as to achieve. So the blue copper sulfate crystal on heating becomes white, and the colorless fumes which will get condensed in the cooler part of the test tube. So we know that it's a colorless, odorless gas, vapor, which forms a clear liquid on the cooler part of the test tube that's neutral to litmus. The liquid form turns the anhydrous copper sulfate white to blue. So if you bring a white copper sulfate salt, it will immediately turn blue, or even cobalt chloride, which is blue to pink because anhydrous is blue to color. On getting those water molecules, that will turn to pink. So this is done last year, repetition, yes, but easy also, so learn it. And then nitrogen dioxide, a metal nitrate, could be zinc nitrate, copper nitrate, lead nitrate. On heating will give you the metal oxide, oxygen and nitrogen dioxide. Now there are two types of gases. Litharge, lead oxide of course, oxygen and nitrogen dioxide. Now we know that the gas is brown in color. Nitrogen dioxide will be colored gas, brown or reddish brown also you can see. Pungent odor, non-combustible. The pungent odor, non-combustible, will not identify the gas. It turns the moist blue litmus red, acidic in nature. turns the potassium iodide paper brown, or it will turn the green acidified ferrous sulfate brown. But here in this case, the color is enough to identify. So the gas is reddish brown or a brown color gas comes out, and we say that nitrogen dioxide is present. So these were the different types of gases that is there in your syllabus, and the types of question also I discussed in the sheets. If you want, I can repeat, or I can give you some homework which you can do it. Now let me just cover up one more part of the chapter, and then in my next video I will be doing the rest of the part of the chapter. And very simple, that is the flame test. In the council's syllabus, you're not asked how to go for the flame test, but being a 10th standard child, you should know that the paste that is made is the salt, a pinch of salt, with conch HCl. This can be a fill in the blanks question. And the paste is taken in a thin platinum wire because it has got a high melting point. In the brought to the non-luminous flame, you have golden yellow color if the cation is sodium, lilac color if the cation is potassium, brick red if it is calcium, bluish green if it is copper. So for copper, we don't need the flame test because it is very easily identified by straight away heating in a dry test tube. We basically need it for sodium, potassium. Calcium also can be identified with the help of sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide, which we have done in the analytical chapter. But for sodium and potassium, we really need the help of flame test. Here are some questions which I have written it down for you if you can answer them. Give a chemical test to identify sulfur dioxide gas. Confirmatory test you have to give. Give a chemical reaction to prepare HCl gas. We were discussing. Any one you can give out of the two given in your text. Name a gas that turns moist starch iodide paper blue-black. You understood. I was talking about the questions like this, the fill in the blanks question. What do you observe when copper carbonate is heated in a dry test tube? What do you observe when H2S gas is passed through lead nitrate solution? So for such questions, you need to learn all the observations. Name the colored gas which is a bleaching agent. When it's a bleaching agent, we are talking about for the permanent bleaching, not the temporary one. How will you distinguish sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide? This question is important because both of them will turn the lime water milky. So there is a test which can differentiate the two gases. So please try out. If you have any doubt answering these questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. And please watch the video properly. And I'm sure you will understand. But yes, you have to do a lot of practice writing the chemical equation, balancing them, remembering or memorizing the observations to identify and give the answer to the observation questions. And please like, share and subscribe my channel. Do hit the bell icon to get notified about my upcoming video.